right, everybody, we're starting a little early today because guess what? We're into the close. This is the best time, arguably, of the day because we get to see what Wall Street's really thinking into the next session. Welcome to the stream, everybody. This is the stream where we talk about the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, bit of Tesla action as well today. And of course, we're talking crypto, commodities, and everything else to do with the stock market. We'll start off here with the Nas. I hope everyone's having a great afternoon in the US and everyone around the world is having a great day. If you're in Australia, good morning. Hopefully you didn't get woken by the nasty roosters. For some reason, I did. But anyway, let's go into what's going on here. So US 100, overall, we have a very interesting point. We hit 15,000, guys. 15,000, a 20 exponential moving average, and the previous closure points here. You can see right on that 15K, we hit it just before the end of the day. Now we're in the hour of power. We have 39 minutes to go. And it seems to me that if I was in this market and I was trading in the day trade, and we talked about yesterday having that marginal kind of scale in potential, and it's really gone to the next level. So it's had that nice movement up. We've got that little sell-off occurring. And now we get into this point where basically if they're going to sell, they're going to try to sell here and into the end of the day. And the reason why is you hit 15,000 on the Nasdaq. It's a nice round number. It's a 20 moving average. We've got non-farm payrolls, obviously, on the Friday session. And we've got that little bit of a pullback already that's occurred. Do we get underneath this zone here in the futures or into the close? We're going to watch this one very, very carefully because this could show us really what the market's going to do after the close and whether it's going to pull back. Now, we know non-farm payrolls comes out before the market open. So realistically, this is one of those days that you generally don't want to trade into. So what I mean by that is we use the close to give us an idea of what's actually going to happen over the future session. When we understand that we have good trading applications, so let's say we have this type of pattern that we talk about all the time, and we get a nice closure above that kind of pattern. Let's say Tesla was going to smash $800, which it's trying to right now. If we close above 800, what's the next most likely scenario? Well, the next most likely scenario is the hype, the FOMO, the anticipation, the aftermarket into the pre-market tends to spike it up. And often traders will miss out on getting the opportunity of this gap and it doesn't come back. You know, it gaps up and runs off. How many times has that happened to you guys? How many times have you been affected by a market closing and then you come in on the open, you watch our stream, you watch whatever else you're doing out there, and all of a sudden you don't get the opportunity to be in the trade? Has that happened to you? I'll put my hand up. I'll say I'm first to recognize that I used to get smashed by this and I used to miss out on some pretty big gaps. We're talking 4%, 3%, 5%, and it sucks. Laurie says all of the time. Chris Walker says too many, man. And then we've got Finken79 says several, absolutely. And Dylan says happen the past 3 days every morning, lol. Absolutely it will. And unfortunately, look, it's the reality when you miss on realizing that it's closed above certain key zones. And I want to give a bit of a shout out to one of the super chatters, by the way. I actually shared this in the private community today in Chart of the Day. And I got to say, well done for spotting take two. Now, this might not be the highest percentage of the day, but phenomenal little setup here. Great quality stock. I understand this stock pretty well. It's not hard to understand gaming stocks. And yeah, what a nice closure and a huge rally here today. 3.75%, maybe not the best in the market, but another one of our favorites recently with the price elasticity, as we call it, has been Snap as well. Another big return here. Anyone in Snap? Anyone in take two? Put your hands up if you are. Cool. Good work. I still think Snap's got this potential of really running into the earnings. Do I want to take it into earnings? Hell no. I don't want to know what the hell they did. I don't even believe in the damn company. But the point is, it's got that price elasticity. Remember, we talk about it all the time. The market went ramping during a pretty bad time in the market. It pulls back due to the fear and FUD that's going on. And then as we see this ramp coming back through the market, all of a sudden, bam, there's another, what is that? It's almost 10% in only a few days. So that's what I'm talking about, guys. You don't buy the crud. You don't buy the rubbish. I mean, sometimes the rubbish, even with good TA, the rubbish is not doing well today. Look at this, 1.53% down on UAL. Now, is this a bad stock? It's an airline stock, so you know I don't like it. But it's a good TA, and I still think that if it comes down here, it's got a good chance of bouncing. But overall, this is not the favored stock of the day. The favored stock of the day is all the hot stuff, or specifically stuff that's had very good price elasticity. The only surprise has probably been Barber, because that's up 8%. And this is starting to get into that territory where you're getting that repair. Did you know this is the first time that Barber is going to close above the 20 exponential on the daily since over here? And even here, it was marginal. This is actually the first time that it's going to close above the 20, and it's going to close above the previous support resistance. Now we're talking, there could be some opportunity here in Barber coming up. We're going to wait for a little bit more information, but certainly this is one where if someone's feeling frisky on Barber, even though it looks like it's gone up 8%, you've got to remember how much it still is behind. Now, I don't particularly like this stock. It's not really one that I would condone taking the risks in and stuff like that. But yeah, big volume, big gap up. Could fill for sure. But this is the first step I've seen in a while that looks more bullish than any of the other moves we've had. Looks way more bullish. Has Zillow broken the trend line? Ooh, we'll check that out. Let's see what people are in. Yes, that happened to me. A few people asked. Smash the like button while you're waiting, says Lucian. Thank you very much. Thank you as well to the 350 people that are out here. You guys can hear me, yeah? This is why I always buy the dip, says Alberlo. There's nothing wrong with buying the dip, but you've got to make sure that you also don't buy you've got to buy quality, yeah? Quality, not crapper. You buy a dip of crapper and it goes and smashes you. You don't want to do that. I've been watching Take Two all day, didn't get in. Oh, that's unfortunate, Thad. Yeah, you had to take the aggressive entry there off the close. Basically, most people will probably just have a scale position. Dillian says, I've always been scared of the dip. Lol, missed out on too many thousands that way. So you mean you're scared of the dip coming? I'm actually interested to know what your opinion is here. Are you scared of the dip occurring, or are you scared of buying the dip because of the FUD? I'd rather buy Doge than an airline stock. And then somebody said they just canceled their Unity subscription this week. Chuan says, Barber is scary. Yeah, Barber certainly is not for everybody. That's for sure. News on Barber, Charlie Munger increased stake by 83%. Does Charlie Munger actually know what technology is, though? I mean, he's a legend, obviously. But these guys, I mean, they're not exactly they probably just realized what Barber was the other day. They're probably like, hey, oh, yeah, okay. Hey, way more successful than me. And I ain't be hating, but I don't know if their tech picks are the best. Historically, are they? The community can let me know. The community can let me know. They've just had Apple. Apple has been their beauty. And speaking of Apple, this is a pretty nice closure here. You'll notice almost every one of these stocks is coming into the 20 on the daily. So this is actually a little bit underneath. We go over to Amazon. Amazon's getting close to that daily 220. You know, this is where you're going to see a little bit of profit taking. You've obviously got non-farm payrolls. That's going to show us the full way here. But it has been a good buy through the session. There's no doubt that it's been okay. I expected 15K to get hit when I saw that ramp this morning, or, you know, obviously last night. I expected it to go towards this level and then that to be a take profit ahead of non-farms. And I think a lot of people will probably be, or like a little bit of de-risking may be occurring, because remember, we have had, you know, a big rally into the 20, a sell-off occurred from that. So it's not unprecedented that the 20 holds it back. And we've got a 20 and a 50 sitting right on that. We've got Ulrich Nielsen. Thank you very much. DKK, $20. HYUD. How would you interpret the wicks? Let's have a quick look at that. And then we'll go through some stocks that we're looking at this point. Oh, this stock is weird, isn't it? Look at all these wicks. You're not wrong. How do I interpret that? Jeez. Oh, it's a really weird stock. Is it super low volume on this or something? I mean, I know it's obviously Hyundai, which is a car company. I can't believe it's worth so little. 27 billion. I feel like this stock, that just shows you how overpriced some tech stocks are. 27 billion, and most people know what this brand is. You wouldn't even know what Datadog was. Yeah, it's worth it's worth quite a lot. That's scalability for you. How do I interpret this? Look, at this stage, you'd have to go with overall negative towards the interpretation, because you've got a resistance here, which was previous support. You've got a wick rejection, wick rejection, wick rejection, long leg doji, decision made, negative. Then you've tried to rally, hit the 20 and the 50, and you kind of come back down again. Am I negative on a stock? No, overall, you're better off being an optimist. So there's no real reason to be super scared of this. But we have here the previous resistances. We've got the support over on this side. And what we're looking for here, if you want to go bullish, is really a close above 46. I guess nothing really changes here. If you marginally want to attack this zone, you could. Overall, it looks more negative than positive at this stage from a price action standpoint. This is not a good weekly close should it occur. But if you get above 46, oh yeah, 46 to 52.5 looks very, very tasty. And I know you like these types of ones. This is a good support. Fantastic support. Currently, bit dodge. Even this volume, like how to get up so high and so little volume. Interesting. Alberlo says, I'm only by 100% quality. And then HJ Cal says, Tesla false breakouts. Let's take a look at Tesla together. So Tesla got back above 800. Close, close, close is the key, guys. I don't care about anything but the close above 800. 800, it could be 820. And then at the end of the day, it could still be under 800. This 800 level, well, let's see what the community thinks. How important is the 800 level, community? Tell us. Bob Hayes says, when I grow up, I want a Hyundai just like my papa. Did anyone say that? I don't think it's like saying the Patek, yeah? The Patek, you don't really buy a Patek, you just hold it for the next generation. Isn't that what their slogan is? I don't own any Pateks, by the way. I wish. If anyone has the sweet hookups, maybe that would be pretty sweet. I don't mind my watches, but then again, Patek's too expensive nowadays. Where's Tesla Harry? He'll come out when it gets past 800. I'm sure he'll be back. HJ Cal says massive. Jassa says bought and sold at 804. One on the dot. You bought and sold the exact same zone, Jassa. Fair enough. And then Big Dipper says huge, has to close above. I vote we do another lap of the indices real quick. We will, John. Don't worry. We're coming back to the indices very soon. We haven't even done the S&P 500 yet. 800 sitting on the fence. Absolutely. It's such a big thing. And Big Dipper says Tesla huge. Above 800, nothing's going to stop it before 880. Yeah. I mean, there's a little at 820, but it's very marginal. I agree that 880 seems to be the target after this point. I think it's, I'm excited. I'm excited because we're not there yet. And obviously that's important to note. We are not there yet. But imagine if we get the ramp. I'm not even the biggest fan, but I am a fan of TA, and I would love some ramp. Why can't we get some ramp? I bet it opens tomorrow at 810, and we don't have a chance to buy the 800s. Oh, I don't know. I think you'll find that generally you will have a chance. You'll get a chance. Don't feel the FOMO. Just have the opportunity. Is it time to load up on Snap? I like Snap. Snap is ramping at this stage. It's trying to do a little bit of a close above, back up. The chart doesn't look bad. The good thing about it is you have a very clear support. I mean, you know that $70 is a clear support. You can see it here. I mean, it's very difficult not to think this is a bit of support. Support, 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 support. It's a very key zone. You've seen it go above this area once before. Obviously, it's doing that close 76, 75. I liked it here, and I did mention it earlier in the week that this was one of my ones that I was looking at for price elasticity. So going back to the action that it was in. Again, I caution, and I do not like the earnings personally. Jang E, before we go back to the indices, thank you very much as well. The 600 people joining us so early here in the morning or early in the afternoon or late in the afternoon, I guess, in the US towards the close. If you smash that like button, it does help us out. Appreciate that. Jang E said S Singapore $2. What time is it in Singapore? Isn't it really early? I think this person's keen. I think it's 4 a.m. in the morning. let me just check the time in Singapore. Time in Singapore right now. Let's have a look here. 3:35 in the morning. That's a keen person, guys. That's a true lover of the stream. 3:35. Holy moly. You're crazy, man. All right. Barber looks similar to Take Two setup. Can we buy here? Does it really? Are you sure about that? Or are you trying to make action? I know what you're saying. So you're basically trying to draw a trend line on the way down, and you're saying, have we recovered through this trend line down? It's not as good, but yes, I mean, it's fair. This is a trend line down. This is a recovery style setup. That's why I said at the start of the stream, this is the first time that I believe we have seen Barber look decent. You've got an increased amount of volume, which you had over here, admittedly. You know this was a key support. And remember, what have we just done? We've just achieved something that almost nobody would have called. And remember as well, the weekly closure here is a big deal. I mean, we close above that type of candle. Whew, okay. All right. We tried over here. We didn't get closure. That'd be a big deal. So yes, this is just achieved maximum pain. The fear, the scaremongering, the FUD is at extreme highs. We didn't quite get to the expectation level down here, but this will have taken out so many people's stops. The amount of people that were sitting probably at stops around this area, and specifically around 150, would have been huge. The psychology of the retail trader. I put my stop loss at round numbers. That's where I put it. 150, 140, 160. They're the levels I want. But 150 sounds the perfect one. We like 50 increments. So it's taken out your stops. It's laughing at you, and then it's trying to close above. So yes, it is a very, very interesting zone. I'm not going to tell you to do anything in particular because you've got to make your own decisions. But this is certainly on the road to recovery. PayPal crypto adoption is looking promising. Bob, it looks really good, but yes, overall it's a bit weak, isn't it, on the old price action right now. But yes, I agree. It looks a lot better than you would think. Cup of coffee from Rob Platt. Thank you very much, Rob. Appreciate that. Here we go. Super sticker, $4. Thank you very much, Rob. Very good. Charlie Munger has broken the spell. That's true. And then Lunch Money probably brings in an interesting point. Barber, you can only play with calls, but do not buy the stocks. The thing with buying a call here is probably implied volatility is quite high. So you're going to have to work and mitigate that, which you can do if you understand the strategies of course, options. Let's now go over to the indices. We've got a request before. We're 20 minutes out from the close, and we have lines all over the place. So let's just clean this up. Let's get rid of all this trash. In fact, we don't need that chart. Let's use the SPY and the SPX here quickly. So where are we? What can I say? We're at one of those points that you sit there and you go, damn, we got still nothing going on. I mean, look at this. This is the SPX. This is a real market. We have here a downward trend line, yeah? And you know I've left this here on the chart. We hit a level today, which basically was a little bit of previous closure downs. We know that we hit the US 100 at 15,000. Phenomenal level. Phenomenal level. Big psychological, big resistance. Very much a profit take ahead of non-farm payrolls. So where are we going to close? I would actually expect around here. Maybe even ideally underneath 4,400 would be kind of fantastic, just from, you know, that allows the real dance to be played out. This is one of those days, though, and it's probably one of the only days that you look at a close, and at least specifically on the market itself, you don't want to make necessarily too many decisions because, and can we see why? We're at 2 moving averages. We've done something that's definitely incredible from the bull side. I mean, you've broken through a very nice channel and you've gone towards the bull side. But we have got one bit of news. And unfortunately, it's not just like CPI data or PPI data or some other trash that we don't care about, or, all the tools Powell coming out and saying whatever he feels like. It's the jobs number. And if it wasn't the jobs number, you can make better decisions. So this is one of those days where you practice probably having a portion of scale in rather than anything else. Obviously, your long-term holds, whatever. Why are you going to be scared? Overall, you're bullish, yeah? Long term is long term. But on your trading concepts, can we all see why this is a bit of an issue? Can we see that, chat? What do you think? It's a little bit of an issue. Volume hasn't fully come in yet, but we're going to close right around this 4,400 we expect on the decline of this trend line, and we've hit a 15,000 on the NAS. So we're exactly where we don't really necessarily want to be ahead of the non-farms. We also never filled this gap. So we got the gap up and then we just ramped all day. I would have expected it filled. Surprised it didn't fill. So we never filled this gap here. We have a gap down at this level where a lot of buyers will want to come back in now. And it certainly looks a lot more of a buyer's market than a seller's market at this stage. There's going to be a giant fight here. And I would expect us to be able to get this fight through. It seems unlikely that you won't get a chance at it. Most of the time when markets go ramping and they come off one of these bases, they do have a shot back at this zone. So let's go back through history and have a look. Let's see if I'm talking fibs. So here's a massive double, bottom. This one's not very deep pullback. And then we end up getting a pullback here that allows you to get back in, and you end up getting another pullback that allows you to get back in. All right, cool. That's one. These pullbacks suck. So what can you do? Let's get a deeper one. This one here never comes back. All right. So that one's a full ramp and it closes above all the moving averages and it just keeps going up. And it just keeps gapping and it never fills any of these gaps. Here's one that looks very similar to now, but not as much channel. You gap up, do something for a while, stabilize, which at least gives you the opportunity to say, okay, well, we've stabilized here, and then it starts ramping and it comes back later. This one here never broke out, so that's why you don't take it. Do we have any that look very similar? Probably not, since many years ago. Here it is. So this is probably the best one that we have. We close a gap up and we pull back to the 20, and that's all we got. And then, of course, in this case, we end up pulling back later. There usually is a second dip on these September ones. Notice the period, August into September. There's that weakness. And then we get that second kind of drop that comes through back end of October. And then we get a huge ramp in November, December. And this is the ramp that I'm looking for this year. I want big, strong November, December, guys. That's my period. This is incredibly common, this concept of weakness somewhere in that September period. Then we go into a bit of a pickup. Then we have one more dip, and then we go long. Have we seen the lowest point? Only jobs numbers can seem to bring it down now, or some actual, speculation in the Evergrande stuff. The Evergrande stuff's terrible, by the way. Anyone that discounts that, it's the real deal. It's the real deal. It's just they're probably going to fix it. Ray Lim says, Tom, can you have a look at the HK50? Seems like it's bottoming. Yeah, why not? We should look at that. And Silverline says, I love the day streams. Tom, FX is evolving. Yeah, we're doing well. We're doing as best we can here. Tipsy T becoming a new member. Thank you very much, Tipsy T. Appreciate it. Thank you also to the 800 people coming here. Appreciate you all very much. How long away is a bear market? Don't they happen every so many years? No, incredibly rare. I'm going to bring up a stat. I better give this person some cred here. Rudy. This is from, I've got the source here. This is cool, dude. This comes from Rudy Philippek at Philippek on Twitter. I must give them credit nowadays. Credit where credit's due. I don't know who the hell came up with this data, but guys, it's in the private community if you want to have a look at it. This is a cool chart. This shows you the number of 5% S&P 500 pullbacks experienced by investors each year. How cool is this chart? This chart is so cool. I don't even have this chart, but now I do. It's very awesome. I mean, I already knew what the standard stats were, but what you're going to notice here is that after the GFC, we got a few times where there was some volatility, but look at the stabilization after that occurs. Notice here, the 2000 bubble, we get some volatility. Then after that, 1 to 2 years happens, very few pullbacks per year, that kind of 2 to 3 kind of pullbacks that we occur. During the 90s, during what I would call the closest to the roaring 20s that we can get, really, because this was an incredible time to be invested. You look at Buffett's portfolio, it went on a vertical ship to the moon. I mean, that was when he overperformed. He caned it at that period. And there was actually some periods where there was zero pullbacks, if you can believe it. Zero pullbacks. It went very strong. So your expectation per annum is actually only to see usually around 2 to 4 pullbacks on average. There will be more volatility around these higher volatility events like the GFC, like the tech bust, etc. However, after that, they drop considerably. And yeah, you do not expect another bear market right now, guys. You do not expect it. It's just very unlikely to occur. Lunch Money, $10. Thank you very much, Lunch Money. Thanks for all the good work, Tom. Enjoy the small gift. I very much appreciate it. Thank you. Ladowski says, I could run Evergrande better. What was their plan? I don't know. Build stuff. Do as much as they can. And Doc H. Spears says, AMC waking up. This is very, very cool. Chart. All right, let's go back over here. Coming back down to 4,400. We cannot say we didn't expect it. We talked about it just a few minutes ago. And there we go. Underneath. They're nasty Wall Street, guys. I mean, I could totally see why profit was taken at 15K. 15K for a day trader is like the smiley face lobster dinner, feeling so good. You know, they've got chubby cheeks. There's the chubby cheeks, so happy. Yeah, 15K. SPX under 4,400 now? Yeah. Is Barber's 8% a dead cat bounce or trend reversal? I think it's actually beginning to wake up. And I haven't said that this whole time. If you notice, I've been hating on it pretty consistently. It's just the fear is so high and everyone's not looking at it anymore. I usually like to go with if no one's talking about it on Twitter anymore and everyone's sick of it, then you know it's usually hitting that base where the fight's real. China stocks are difficult to own. They're difficult to own. Eric Jarboe, new member. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate it. Hey, Tom, is T-Doc waking up? I saw that this morning. So let's look at the 10-year because this is the story. The 10-year, the 10-year, the 10-year. We've said keep your eyes on it, and my God, it's going. Look at this closure. Oh, let me zoom that in. Oh, wowzers. That's a pretty strong technical close. Wowzers. And it's pulling those markets down a little bit here. So we've got the resistance, we've got that breakout, and then we have the 1.576. Now, I don't care about the 10-year, as you know, over the longer term, unless it gets past 2, and then we'll start really having a discussion about it. But this is a significant closure. You know, once we get through this 10-year, we expected it to ramp to 1.7 to 1.75. And there are good reasons why we expect it to get up here, because that's the most likely area. And it's just snapped a serious rejection candle should this close up here, which it looks like it will. That's a pretty big deal, guys. Like, when this happens, what do we know occurs? If you see a quick ramping of the 10-year, traditionally, it hurts the NAS, which just hit 15K. Now, it's all going to come down to the jobs numbers because we know these are all prepping for the jobs numbers. It could be a fake out. But this is the importance of what is about to occur. And I know I say, you know, most news doesn't matter and stuff. I kind of feel like this one does. We've got US 10-year breaking out. We have the US 100 and US 500 on the precipice of going back to being, you know, buy the dip, let's go long, 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 long. And we have the 10-year just, you know, so close to basically saying, well, wait a second, there's some inflation concerns here. You be concerned, QQQ, and you come back down, damn it. And that's all going to be about this ramp. So yes, this is the chart that we're watching, and certainly this close means something. Hey, Tom, what do you think of the 10-year will do to BTC? I don't even know if there's a correlation there. Is there? Lucas says 10-year hitting 1.75 by next week at some point. Easy. Easy, he says. PK Subman says, if the US 10-year is up, why are tech stocks up today? Well, it's not. It's more of a shock reaction, PK. So what we notice, and I think a lot of people sometimes misinterpret these things, is even over here, when this was ramping this whole time, remember, it only really affected the NAS during certain key ramps. It's kind of like when the market goes down. We'll use the VIX as the best proportion here. So the VIX is sitting on about 20, just underneath 20, 19.4. If the market goes down the first time and it hits a low, and it does so in a speed, and it hasn't been there recently, what do we think the VIX will do? Let's ask the chat here while I read over some stuff. What is the market going to do when you get that sell-off initially? Again, thank you for the new members today. Appreciate all of you. And this and the super chats as well. So the first thing that we're looking at here is, I'll answer it for you guys, is the VIX is going to go up quite a lot. Then if the market comes up and it goes back down to the exact same price, the VIX is actually going to be at a much lower level than it was the first time. And this is a mixture of algorithms creating fear and them getting into the point, and the fact that we have a reality that we've already seen. So when we know we've already had a low, then it doesn't scare the market as much when it comes down to that level again. It becomes like the known. And it's just like anything in life. If you go out and you buy a cup of coffee that's $5 today and you think, damn, that's ridiculous, and then it just becomes normal, and then you just deal with it. But initially you're like, damn it, this sucks, this is ridiculous. And then it just becomes normal, and it's the new norm. You accept it. This is the new norm. We accept the price. We're not scared by the price. Quickly getting up something for you guys. So I believe I just had a question here about the market close day. So I believe the next market close day, so we had September the 6th, which was Labor Day in the US. And then we have November 25th, I believe, which is Thanksgiving Day. It's not closed for Columbus. Am I correct? Someone let me know. I think the next one is Thanksgiving. And by God, Thanksgiving's a good week to get in. I love the Thanksgiving run. We'll talk about that in future weeks. So look, market weakness slightly coming in here to the close. We expect to get pretty much around here. We've got 7 minutes till the end. 4,400 makes sense. We said it at the start of the stream. It makes perfect sense. The NAS dropping back makes perfect sense. 15K hit. It hits our 20 moving average. A little bit of risk off ahead of, what we would call a big number, which is going to be the jobs number. And that's the story of the close, that they push it towards a nice closure point ahead of a risk session. Remember, put this in the back of your mind. Put it always in the back of your mind. What is the most likely scenario based on what you've currently seen in the price action and where you expect the market to gravitate to before big news? Remember, a market will generally gravitate towards a key resistance or a key support. And what greater number than 4,400 for the NAS? Oh, sorry, for the S&P. What greater number? Trio says we have too many market holidays. Hey, I kind of like the US having Thanksgiving and stuff. I kind of wish we did. We have just random days. We have like grand final day and Queen's birthday and I don't know, other stuff. People are saying Zillow is breaking out. Yes, I heard that before. Let's have a look at Zillow. Yes. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Very good. I agree. That is certainly the first time we've ever seen. Look at this trend line, guys. Oh my God. That is so much rejection city. And all of a sudden it's come back up. This is trading at 90, the hated stock, 93.95 was as high. God, I feel bad for people that bought it here, as over $200. So it's down a whopping over 50%. Let's take the top to the bottom here. Ooh, that's bad. That's dirty. 60% almost. You are correct. This is a pretty serious little breakout that's occurred here through the session. Got that little base formation happening. You've got a super support, maximum pain theory. You've gone lower than anyone thought you could go. And then all of a sudden you get that ramp. I wouldn't be surprised to get a retest pickup here. But for some people, this will be a scale position. Now, obviously, you make your own decisions and do whatever the hell you want to do. I'm not going to tell you to do anything. Let's take a look at pins. Is pins doing something separate? Pins, another sleeper that we've been watching for a while. Nope, not yet. Ulrich Nielsen, DKK, $50. Thank you very much. Could be a coincidence, but BTC, USD, and 10-year have followed each other for the past year. True, really. Charts look the same. BTC has been a hedge against stocks falling. Oh, it's so strange because I know for a fact that Bitcoin is not a hedge against stocks falling when stocks fall too much. So say like stock market falls about 5-6%. Around that point, generally you start to see Bitcoin get flogged with it, traditionally anyway. Interesting point though, Ulrich, about the BTC and the US 10-year. So maybe somebody will want to superimpose both together and have a look at them. I still think the cryptocurrency space is now going to rotate. We've seen it today. We said it yesterday in the video. We're getting into the alts. I mean, look at one of my favorite alts. Yeah, come on, stupid KSM. We just need you to above, 365. Let's close above here. Let's just get a little higher. Just get a little higher, and then we can ramp to the 400. It's not that hard, is it, guys? It's not that hard. Just KSM get up there. George, Jernigan, $4.99. Thank you very much there, George. Let's watch these. I don't have any message. Oh, there is a message underneath. Tom, can you have a look at Rocket RKT after the bigger sell-off this week? Certainly can. We'll do it in a second. Let's watch the close, though, together. So we'll put the US 100 here, and we'll have the US 500 here. Look at them sell it off into the close. Those nasty, nasty lobster-eating people. And I think I missed Mohammed's one, but I've got one here, member for 6 months. Thank you very much, Mohammed. Thank you for everything you do, Tom. Appreciate it, man. Could you please check out AMD and Z? Well, we did Z, so that's good. Is there repair in both? Certainly in Z, it looks like there's repair. So these markets are pulling back before the non-farm payrolls. This is one of those days that if you like certain stocks, then you can get them in if they close high. But it's also very risky to place too many positions into a non-farm payrolls. It's one of the only days of the year or the only days of the month that I tend to just chill back a little bit and wait for the information. Now, if you're a bull in this market, where are you focusing on? You're focusing very heavily around that 43.70, 43.80, and you're looking for lightning bolt pickups. You're looking for that gap to come back through. So if we look at the SPY, actually, what does the community prefer I use? SPX, SPY, or the futures market when we're doing these? What do you prefer, guys? Look at the gap. That's what they want to fill. If they're going to take it long, they long it right here, and then they go for it. That's what they do. The bulls are going to fight the bears, and I expect them to fight it out here and a big scrap to occur. And if the bears get it back under here, then guess what the most logical situation is, guys? Back to the 428, back to that 4,300 area. Scott Morgan, $2. Are we looking for a beat or miss on jobs numbers? God, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. How do we interpret it? I mean, I've said slightly bad news or a hit is okay. Slightly bad news is more of I think a bullish thing for the markets just because of the Fed. But now it's changed because remember, The idea that we wanted slightly bad news was because tapering would be pushed off. I believe the Fed's going to taper regardless. So maybe slightly bad news is bad. Let's not try to interpret the jobs number. It's just going to be following the price action. I'd be speculating and completely guessing, and I'd rather not guess. I'd rather make some type of informed decision. Scott on that one. There's the close. So ding, ding, ding on the back end. We've closed there, pretty much a session where we opened and closed at the same point. I think we go for the gap. Makes sense. And we'll check it out. SPY and QQQ, SPY, SPX, Nasdaq, big guy Sava. This Sava thing, SPX, XPX, SPY. See, people are all over the place. I think Americans want SPY. SoundCloud must hate me so much, says Dow. You must hate me so much. I barely covered the Dow. I'm shocking, aren't I? I hate the Dow. The Dow is just like 30 companies that are archaic. Some of them are so old, I barely even look at it. It used to be the thing. I'm not going to say it wasn't. I mean, the Dow was the most important to be looking at. So US 10-year doesn't quite close above, but certainly does get a significant point there. I guess the market's still open here, it seems. But yeah, it's trading there. So we get the close. Both markets close right around where we expect. SPX, let's actually look at the full number. The full number is 43.9982. So that's exactly where we expected it to finish up. And you know what? Now the games begin. I would expect a fill and then a pickup ideally. If we're going to form that base, this is where the buyers and the bulls have to get in control. We're looking for it to get through and close above our downward trend line, and then we can continue the repair. If you're a bear in the markets, what you want to do is fill the gap down, get back underneath that gap, back into the channel range. This was all just a big trap. And then we go back down to the 42. So once we get back into the channel and we close underneath, the most likely scenario becomes push back into the 4,300. I'm going to be like a trader. We play both ways. We know the market's optimistic. Being bearish, you have to be nimble and quick. And hopefully this whole pullback here has shown you that if you're a nasty bear or a cool bear or whatever you want to call it, looking for the salmon, you've got to be quick, guys. Do we all see why we have to be quick? Quick, 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 nimble, nimble, nimble. That's the way we must be. Welcome to new members as well. If you guys enjoy the stream, please remember to subscribe. It does help us out. AMD, we do this for Muhammad. He says, is there repair, Tom? Not too bad. You know that Intel, the CEO guy, he came out and he said, AMD's time, it's over. Our new architecture will kick its ass. Does anyone believe that? That's what he said. Something along those lines. I paraphrased it. Does anyone believe that that Intel is going to be beating AMD in the next tech? Let's see if anyone believes it. Historically, it has happened, but Intel haven't been able to move their nanometer technology very well. So we've got here $100. It's that psychological base. We've had a break to 106. Has it got repair? I don't really feel this chart right now. The Zillow, yeah, I like that one a lot more. This one is just kind of feels like it's in a range, not so much a repairing chart. Got a question about Crispr. Let's have a look at Crispr. Oh, crispy crisp on the heavy support. If you're a big fan of the Crispr technologies, you're certainly getting a bit of a discount now. This is more of an investor level than anything else. Bit weak on the close. Should have closed above this, 105.52. For me, that's where I'm going to put a line. I'm going to put a line right there, actually, right now. And I'll set an alert there. I'll come back and watch that because, look, we've got a rejection candle, a long leg doji, and a rejection candle. You snap those off and get a bullish close. Ooh, yeah. Very cool. Beautiful wick, Anonymous says. SoundCloud said it's fine, no hate. Thank you very much, SoundCloud. Can we do some crypto? Yeah, we can do some crypto. Well, first I'll start with KSM. Get above 368 KSM. Come on now. Come on now. Okay, we're done with that one. ADA, pretty much the exact level we had the other day on it. We're looking for a closure above the 230, 232 area. And once we get that, we create the lightning bolt. We've got the trough, we've got the peak, we've got the higher trough, and then we get the higher peak. Cool level. Many ADA fans will be looking to ramp this particular one. And remember that a lot of that love, I'm sick of people coming into the stream actually and ADA to be like ramping. And one thing that annoys me about ADA people is they all start calling $10. You know what I mean, guys? They all start calling $10. It goes up like, $1 and they all call $10. I want you to go back and I'm going to rant here. Market capitalization, guys, please. Are you out of your mind calling $10 just because it went to 3? Get out of here. Come back in a while. $10 immediately just because it hit 3, please. I love Cardano. It's great. But to call tenor when it's 3, it's not only irrational, I believe in many ways it's irresponsible. It's actually irresponsible to call these outlandish figures. It's like saying on Tesla, I think it's almost irresponsible to have a 3K call on it for 12 months or 2 years. You give people a really ridiculous concept of where it's going to be in a very short period of time when you know it's incredibly unlikely. It's like Bitcoin to 500K. Do we really think it can get there in this cycle? I mean, I could see about 100, maybe even 150. It's possible. It's actually a possible reality. But to see those other ones, it seems irresponsible to me. Bradley B, $5. Thanks for teaching me to fish. No worries, man. 17 out of 23 green days and red days are small because of proper risk management. You're practicing that sweet scaling. I see there, Bradley. Good work. And Bradley is a part of the private community. He's doing well. It's good. Mark Wilkins. Good morning, Tom. Quick TA on Ford. Thank you. Yeah, we'll check that out in a second. Be realistic, guys. Be realistic, please. I implore you to be realistic. No, you can do whatever the hell you want. You can call whatever you feel like. But I always go with it's better to have some realism in your trades over time than be unrealistic and end up not getting any of the cheese. You end up just sitting there holding the bags at the end, being very upset. Don't fall for the rhetoric or the story. How many times have you fallen for the story this year? I want the chat to let us know. We have to do RKT in a second, by the way, speaking of stories. So how many times have you fallen for, this thing's got revolutionary concepts? Revolutionary. This is revolutionary. This is going to save the world. This is going to make the difference. And you fall into this trap of believing this without thinking outside the box. It's like in crypto. The only cryptos I like right now are literally cryptos that are basically the bedrock of other cryptos being made. Why? Because little bits of news get created because of this. And you get like little crypto project over here, ramps this particular coin, little crypto project over here, ramps this particular coin. It's fantastic. It's a constant bedrock of new bits of news. So Ethereum, we have no closure above this 3,600. We're looking for that. If we get that, then where's the next most likely target? 4K. So that's something that Ethereum traders will be looking at resistance. Price action looks strong into it. Bunch of rejections. So that looks pretty strong. We'll look at Bitcoin. We expect Bitcoin to pull back here and to money to rotate into the other coins. So somewhere upwards of this 52.5, we expect it to pull back here. And I'd like to see it kind of float round. And then we move back up. Let's do RKT. Oh my goodness. I didn't even know where this thing was. Oh no. It's a piece of trash. How's it worth $30 billion? What is this thing? Oh no. I say oh no because, well, firstly, it's got almost a year old, I guess. Oh, this has nothing cool about it. I mean, it's just a bunch of weakness. with a little rejection candle. Maybe you get above here. You can start to talk about getting back to the 1650. I'd be purely guessing. I mean, this is a chart. I would just be like, no go zone, don't care. Unfortunately, I couldn't come back. To give you value, I will say if it gets above here, there is a chance it ramps back into this zone. But other than that, I don't know what to tell you, man. $15. I guess that's a psychological. 20 bucks hold before. Kind of held okay, I guess. Victor Lau, 420. Thoughts on Sam? Is it a falling knife or done falling? You'll know when it's done falling. That's not Sam that we're talking about. The Boston Beer Company. Geez, that went on a big move. I remember looking at this a little while ago. Look, it is a base. There is a few days of volume ramp. I think we've got like a 560 kind of resistance. And what I would expect for stock like this to do, ideally, would be to actually stay within this range for a little bit. So for it to actually come back down, bounce off this level, come back down, and then bounce through. And if it did something like that, then I'd say, yes, you've done your accumulation. You want to see an increased amount of volume. And yeah, ideally it breaks out ahead of earnings. So Victor, that's the way I would look at it. Donnie says, my mortgage is through Rocket and I love them. RKT was good before Wall Street bets. Finken says, remember, RKT is an aeroplane without wings. It could be a great company, but it's not cheap. It's 39 billion. What's their turnover? I don't even know. RKT is a Wall Street bets pump and dump. Yeah, I know. Giovanni says he gave up. Shizzy Wiznut says sold Rocket at 30. TRX going to partnership with ICP and create a Tron computer. Okay. Is that like some kind of Terminator thing? Chris Walker probably safes up. Chris Walker probably covers my rant before. He says, this time it's different. Yeah. And Marky says, it's nice to dream, Tom. It's nice to dream. Hey, I'm all for the dreaming, but we need to have some reality. Tom Shib. Yeah, I know, Shib. I heard people messaging me. They're like, Tom, the Shib is so good. What are you talking about? Oh, man. Yeah, it's blowing off right now. What a ramp. That little closure up here, people got it. I mean, it just proves one thing about crypto. When that breakout occurs, even though it might be eventually going to blow up and not go well, it tends to have even further ramp when it hits peak kind of interest, then it's over. Speaking of peak interest, how's the old Solana going? Not too bad. Back on a bit of support there for Solana. Tom, I'm sad that Tesla did a 10-point pump and sold off. Giovanni, I agree. That is sad. Why couldn't we have gotten above 800 today on Tesla? Come on now. We've got to keep the faith. 800, damn it. And we need to do Ford. Nice closure out. Strong looking chart. Next stop, 1550. We've been talking about Ford since the recovery. That's a good close. If you took this close here, I wouldn't blame you. And you should have had your stop, so it should have been safe. Well, it would have been sweating, but you would have been safe. And then this one's another good closure out. And then this is a fantastic close for Ford. Looks like it's on the move up. Up and up for Ford. Ant-Man, New Zealand, $5. Thoughts on SoFi, please. Hardly hold its gain. SoFi. Middle of nowhere land. This still remains kind of that little bit of buying area. Resistance becoming support. We're waiting for it to close above 1761. And if it does, then we look for it to ramp into these zones here, which I've already drawn up before. Unfortunately for SoFi, it's just in the middle of these two areas. It would have been nice to hold the gain here today because you have a rejection candle, a bullish close above that would have been very strong. Instead, it comes back and then ends up gapping underneath. Unfortunate. Oil surgical scalp Slobodon can't stop but tell me about this one. Slobodon 4.99. Oil, I surgically scalped it yesterday. As I said, Tom, now I am bullish. What do you say? I say don't counter. And yes, I agree with the bullish conception. So I'm bullish the old oils at the moment. Yes, I like it a lot. It came down a little bit aggressively there. Then you got that big rejection. And yeah, I mean, to pick this up was a little bit tough. You had to use this level here. I mean, that's the zone I felt like that made a lot of sense. See that recovery from 75 goes up, struggles with this area, and then busts it off with a little bit of rejection. This is a strong candle, and I'm looking for it to go to the other areas. So yes, looking at this point towards the $86. But just remember, just because you did well off a counter doesn't mean that countering or mean reversion is the best concept in the world for a lot of people out there. And that's why I don't suggest going against the trend, because when you start doing that and you start getting cute with trades, you'll end up getting burnt and then you'll end up pushing your stop loss back. And I want someone in the chat to tell us, be honest, chat guys. You got to be honest. And you push your stop loss back and you push your stop loss back and you push it back, and then you've blown your account. And you get a sad face. Very upset. How many people have done that? I'll put my hand up. I've done it. What's the hate, Donnie? What's the hate? We're not hating. Soul consolidating? Pretty much. When does Tesla call wall expire? Then we go. Well, this Friday we have a call wall expiring. Let's pull the data here for the close. Let me pull the data here. Manual request. TROI Tesla 10/8/2021. All right. So here's the Tesla data. And then let's pull the 15th. Need the 15th, see what's going on there. Ooh. Who is this person buying puts on Tesla? They're insane. Keep doing it. Keep bringing in the puts. Bring them in, baby. Just keep buying the puts. Puts make me happy. Give me put walls all over the place. So this is the 15th of October expiry. Check out the puts. They love it. Decent amount of calls coming in now. The call wall at 800 is not very strong, it looks like. So just here. Overall, nothing too insane there. The puts are insane. The puts are big this week too. So the 800 call wall is a little bit larger. Stuck between that 760 and 800, which we expected to be in all week. We've expected to kind of have problems with 800 closure. I would love to see the Friday session get above 800. But boy, oh boy, someone is ramping a whole bunch of shorts on this, and I don't understand why. Price action does not dictate weakness on Tesla recently. It's Burry. It's Michael Burry. Really? Burry's gone nuts. Every week he puts in more puts. Mohammed says, very true. I assume we're talking about the old stop loss movement. Marvin says, me. Mark Wilkins says, yep. Tom Gordon says, me. I've done that. And Siraj Singh says, more than 10 times. And unfortunately, this has got the ... after it. So it's been brutal. Well, I've done it as well. So, we're going to admit when we make mistakes, and that's just the way it happens. We got STM day trader tier. Thank you very much. A silly question, Tom, but what do you think? What do you mean by scaling? I've heard it so many times. You talk about it. Yeah, cool. All right. Well, let's talk about scaling. And we'll finish today's session here on scaling. So, firstly, US 500 and US 100, we expected a little bit of a sell off. Remember, non farm payrolls, guys. The US 500 and 100 are going to kind of hover around this area until the open. If you're looking at getting bullish in the market and you're not currently bullish for whatever reason, or you haven't had positions on those lows, then you're really looking at the SPY here. And what you're looking for is possibly a bit of a market pullback, fill the gap during the non-farm payrolls, and then hopefully you get that ramp. We get through this trend line for the end of the week. And if you're bullish, you celebrate the break of the trend line up. That's what you celebrate. So when we talk about scaling, let's look at a stock here. Okay, we'll use Apple because I know where there's a good scale level. So we'll use Apple and we'll go over here to one of the rare but fantastic trades that you could have. So here we have some rejections. We get a closure above. And let's say you don't want to place your, you like what you see, but you're also not very sure on that position. So let's say instead of this closure happening up here, it only closes marginally. So it closes like just above. So you're like, oh, I really want to be in, but I don't want to be in full because I'm a bit scared. I'm scared. I'll admit it. I'm scared of the trade. I want to be in, or, I usually would go in fully, but I don't want to YOLO anymore. So at this point, you could have a chance of doing a few different things. Let's say you risk on general $100 per trade. I mean, you might risk 1,000, might risk whatever. It's irrelevant. What you want to do is you want to split that into portions. So most people either do 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, or they do 1/2 and then another half. So you would basically position a size in here. So you would say, okay, I'm going to enter 1/3 or 1/2 of the position on the marginal close or on the closure itself. Then what I'm going to do is, because it closed out so much, I still want to be in, but I'm going to put an order on the conservative entry. So if the market pulls back, I won't be scared. I'm going to load another position towards the long. I'm very confident in my trade. So you put half a position on here on the close and half a position in on the pullback. You could also take a third, as again, if we had just the marginal, you would take 1/3 on the marginal position, 1/3 on the proper closeout, and 1/3 on the pullback. And what you do by doing this, STM, is you basically don't take as much risk in the market. You can afford to be wrong. If the market marginally closes above and then sells off and busts you, it's generally going to do so pretty quickly. How many times? Most of the time when you enter a poor trade, it will actually hurt you almost instantaneously. A poor trade will almost bash you around straight away. Whereas a good trade will tend to actually do the right thing and move off in the right direction. And we all know this. You've been there, you've done that. You've put a trade in, 5 minutes later, an hour later, you've taken a loss and you're like, whoa, what just happened? By positioning in and scaling in, what you do is you eliminate your initial risk and you let the market tell you more information about your trade or more information about what's going on, and you end up getting positioned. It's more of an advanced technique, and you've got to remember that that's what Wall Street does. A big hedge fund manager doesn't just go $1 billion. They don't just buy $1 billion. Firstly, they can't, and secondly, they don't. As the position goes up and it goes and it makes the right calls and the right moves for them, they scale or position size into this order. So remember, what you're doing is basically on a smaller scale doing what Wall Street do. The reason the price action goes like this the whole way is because it's positioning in for them. So hopefully that helps. Sadie Gov, I can tell I've made a bit of a meme here. 88 at $10, he says. God. James is spamming some BTC. Big heart, he says. What is this? So someone would send you, James, BTC for free. Is there any reason there? Apps, please, Tom. Okay, man. Damn scammers. They're everywhere now. Be careful out there, guys. The scammers are real. It's a beautiful Head and Shoulders. Left head, right. We discussed that. Fantastic pickup. Great buy here once that closed. Fantastic. Is that our resistance? Oh, it's pretty good. What's the full distance? Yeah, so you're at resistance. I actually don't agree with this take. I don't really care about that. I'd go all the way for 90 if I was going above. So you've got kind of at a resistance here, but it stopped earlier. I feel like it's pretty strong and we start ramping. $90 would be my target. And yeah, a 20 moving average would be something I'd follow it with because it looks like that 20 is holding pretty well. It's overall mostly bullish. Let's check the weekly. Yeah, pretty strong weekly too. Cool. Bradley B says, "You want to send me free Bitcoin?" Yeah. All the scammers are selling NFTs. Yeah, there's a lot of scammy NFTs. I'm surprised people are prepared to pay so much. Kevin N says, "I scammed $5 from my 13-year-old. My goodness, it's a bit brutal. Is that like a lesson? Is that a lesson, Kevin?" C-Max says, "I shorted off the spike today. New SP would go back to the daily 20 and would not break the trend." Yeah, well, it's a logical conclusion when you're coming into a non-farm payroll. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Appreciate your support into the close. It's not one that we could really detail too many great positions from, other than we thought it would gravitate to the round number. And that's because we have non-farm payrolls. Just a quick reminder, we have non-farm payrolls, 8:30 a.m. I will not be streaming this. I repeat, I will not be streaming this because I'm not doing opens due to timing and my own lifestyle in some ways and health, to be honest. If we have here non-farm employment change at US 8:30 a.m. and I will not also be doing Friday closes. I don't really see the point of doing the Friday close when we do a recap video on the weekends anyway. So we'll do Monday to Thursday of the closes. That's really where it's all at anyway. And we'll keep doing that schedule from the time being. So Monday to Thursday for the closes. We will probably end up opening 1 hour before the close. So we'll go straight into the close and we'll do the session. I think that might be better. Might try to do that next week. And non-farm employment change. I'll be bringing out a video about that very soon. So remember to subscribe to the channel if you enjoy it. And I will have a bit of a recap on this and the expected numbers. And realistically, with this thing, don't try to interpret the figure. Let the price action interpret the figure. As we all expect, we've seen enough of these non-farms right now. It does this and then goes off in a direction. Remember, non-farms, it might go in one direction. So let's say it might go and fill the gap. And then a few seconds later, it's reversing and going bullish. And you'll be looking at on the blinkers going, wow, what just happened? So have a plan, have a strategy. And remember, if it fills the gap, look for the lightning bolt, look for reasons that you potentially could go to the long side. And if it fills the gap and goes underneath and closes, then you start to talk about that bearish pressure back down to the key supports of 430 on the SPY. And of course, the NAS back to the 14.5. At this stage, market's looking more bullish than bearish, but you know, it's all at that trend line. So it comes down to, do we break the trend line and go bullish, or are we going to stay in this range for a little bit longer? Ginny says, "You are literally the best, Tom." Appreciate it, guys. Thanks so much. You have a great day out there. Have a great afternoon if you're in America, and have a fantastic morning. And wherever you are in the world, have fantastic whatever's going on. Ciao. See ya. And I'll make that video right now, so you'll have that in a few hours. Bye for now, guys. Tom, check your DMs in IG. What is IG? Is that like Instagram? Oh, bro, I don't use Instagram, Baron. I know we have a company Instagram, but I don't even log that. If you want to send me a DM, send it to me in Discord, man. Yeah, I don't even know. I probably have like all these messages sitting here. Private chats. Oh, wow. Do I dare open them? Oh my God, there's like so many in here. I can already see. Yeah, look, if you want to contact me, do it through Discord, guys. I'm not much of a social advocate, as in, like, I like to use the Discords, a little bit of the Twitters, and the YouTubes. I'm a boomer, remember? Boomer, boomer, boomer. I don't even know what Snapchat is. Yeah, send it to me in Discord if you can, bro. Baron. Best TA on YouTube. Cheers. No worries, JR. All right. Ciao, everyone. Bye.